Hello, and welcome to another divorce discussion. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart that we are going to talk about because it's something I did when I moved from Canada to the US. And boy, has it simplified my life. So I would like to introduce you to our esteemed guest, Kitti Andrews. And she is really an expert at all things decluttering, organizing, getting yourself together, and really simplifying and streamlining your life. And Kitti, I'm gonna let you tell people a little bit about your background, your expertise, and why this is an area of passion for you.
I'm going to answer that in reverse order, if that's okay.
That is,
I love the way you asked that question because uh, why is it an area of passion for me? I've always been, in some ways, very organized, even as a child, and it's it came out that it could be an offshoot of my autism spectrum, which is rare in girls, 1 in 189 versus 1 in 44 for boys. But even my parents were kind of wondering, the picture of the kids stacking the building blocks kind of thing. Yeah, guilty as charged. And that carried through in my working career from being a file clerk. A, B, C shouldn't be too difficult, but apparently I was very good at it. And then to a restaurant career, always voted the one to go organize the walk-in fridge after the cooks had just been throwing everything in at the end of their shift, to a long time in real estate cleaning, and always finding that I just wanted to just move the clients' things just maybe an inch or two, so it just flowed better and looked better. And of course, for real estate sales, you want things to look good, don't you?
yeah.
And when I decided that, well, I'm not sure I want to be an elderly cleaning lady, as it were, virtual decluttering came about and was suggested to me. And at that point, I could only find 3 other practitioners. This is back in 2018 in the world.
Wow.
And it has a realtor friend described when I told him what I was researching to do. He said, "Oh, well, that sounds like a less intrusive, more focused way to get rid of 30 years worth of stuff."
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it is. And I'm told my clients say that I just have an eye for where to start because, frankly, physical clutter is overwhelming. But you know what, Marty? Mental clutter is much worse. And the
Yes.
two of them are like the chicken and the egg. I ask people every time I ask somebody which is worse for you, physical or mental clutter, always they say the mental. Kitti, we know how to pick things up. We just don't, or we
Yeah.
just don't know where to start. But mental, it's all blocked up in here. What I notice is for myself, because clutter happens.
Yeah.
You say, "Oh, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'm just in a hurry. I've got to send this email, yada, yada." And it builds up. And Wednesday, and today happens to be a Wednesday, things are starting to pile up a little bit on the kitchen counter. I tell you what, I'm going to wipe that puppy tonight, get rid of a couple of things that shouldn't be there, and I guarantee you I will feel right as rain tomorrow. So that I live this
Yeah.
every day, as getting rid of the physical to make room.
It is right. You are absolutely right because I will, and it's interesting. Full disclosure here, maybe there's something wrong with me, but my workspace just tends to get papers and piles and things I need to deal with and multiple colors of pens and everything else. And I feel so disorganized when I sit down. And if I take
Mhm.
5 minutes and just put things back where they belong, I can sit down and it's almost like my brain is going, okay, I'm ready to work now. Like, is that real or is that?
Oh, 100%, 100% real. Absolutely. The brain can only absorb so much, and especially now in the digital world, when if we're making our living on the computer and working at home, which of course now since COVID is rampant, the brain can only handle so much.
Right.
So the more distractions that you have, I'll give you an example: an eraser that should be in that drawer, okay, but I could see it out of the corner of my eye. It was distracting me.
Sure.
Just little things like that. But that 5 minutes, you would consider that an investment in your mental health and your ability to cope and be your best for your clients or your family or whatever. It's just distracting, and it can kill your business because of it.
Well, and I noticed too, Kitti, the older I get, I'm like you. I love things organized. I don't have an eye for staging a room. I'm not going to say that, but I do like things put away. I don't want to see, piles of newspapers beside the couch. Not that anybody reads newspapers anymore, but you know what I mean? I just don't, I don't like to see things laying all over the place. When I walk into an environment like that, like if I do work with a corporate client or something like that, and I walk into their office and it's like that, I feel my own anxiety level and my own inability to focus, just like I can feel it rising up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what is the connection between what our physical space looks like and what our mental space looks like, or is there one?
It's as I think I mentioned, it's chicken and egg.
Right.
It really is. Which comes first? Does the physical clutter beget the mental clutter, or the mental beget the physical? And I really believe that it's a combination of both. But here's what I know for sure, as Oprah would love to say, is once you start. Okay, for example, my clients come to me with physical clutter, what they can see. And after about we start clearing it. I give them an area to focus on, and they start doing that, and they get their confidence and momentum happening. But here's the thing: after about 3 weeks, I can almost set my calendar by I looked at my wristwatch, right? But after about 3 weeks, they start saying, "Yeah, I got that under control. I want to talk to you about something my husband said that I'm not sure I liked. This really did happen." And they start to want to delve into the other 4 pillars of their life. It's almost like the layers of the onion are being revealed to see what else needs to be decluttered in the other 4 pillars.
Right.
One lady, she sent me a 2-page Google document of everything that was all of the things that she felt that she had to deal with.
Wow.
2 pages worth of stuff, everything from soup to nuts: her daughter, her partner, her job, her new coaching career, all of these things that she felt that she had to deal with. That's all mental clutter.
Yeah.
And if you can at least have it on paper. I'm starting to digress here, but did that answer your question?
No. And tell the story. I think stories are really helpful for people because through stories we can see ourselves. We can go, oh yeah, okay, I can relate to that. Yeah.
It really can. Well, I mean, you run a divorce show, right?
Right.
And you're. I have been credited if we're talking about something that my husband said that I'm not sure that I really liked, and you now, because you're not feeling subconsciously distracted by your physical clutter, you feel ready to attack other things. And I've been credited with saving 3 marriages and ending an abusive one. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I really am. And in all of those cases, there was another one that I saved, but then she ended it after we stopped seeing each other because he couldn't keep up with her decluttering. She just realized they were on the wrong plane. And the idea is to be able to have the mental focus to look at other areas of your life and declutter your heart, relationships, your health,
Right.
your habits, and your brain. Your head has
Yeah.
to do the brain.
And I so appreciate that. And I think another thing that sometimes happens is when we're not very happy with our relationship, we look for external things to be happy with. So we start
Mhm.
bringing in like stuff, just stuff, that just ends up not having a place to live. So it just sits somewhere. And when people realize that clutter is happening, is that kind of like, do they just wake up one morning and go, holy crap, this house looks really bad? Or is it usually somebody says something to them that kind of twigs, or how does that come about? Like, how do people all of a sudden go, like, how did they not notice it before that is maybe what I'm asking, I guess.
Okay, that's a good question. Thank you, Marty. It could be either or. Now, there's such a thing as clutter creep, where it just kind of accumulates slowly. And I'm a minimalist, and when I moved a few months ago, I was horrified at how much. Oh yeah, half a truckload, no problem. What? You could barely fit everything in a huge cube van. What? What? There's more stuff in this closet, kind of thing. And that's what I would describe as clutter creep. And then that's kind of the aha moment. Oh, I definitely need to do something about this. Sometimes someone will. Uh, your boss or your partner may point it out to you. We become clutter blind, and especially if you're ADHD and neurodiverse, like most of my clients are. Busy brains always have something on the go, some sort of project, and need visual cues to remind things. I can't put it away because I'll forget about it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So someone who does not have this challenge, like your wife or your partner, they're a boss, they're going to look at it with a totally different eye from what you do. So you may have become clutter blind and not even notice it. And when you suddenly do the how did it get like this? I think that that's the universe saying, time to wake up.
Yeah.
Something is wrong here, because it is not only noticing the physical clutter, it is sensing something else that's going on in your life. And whether that in one of the pillars could be your health. And so you don't think of you may not think about your health. Oh, I see that pile there. I'll tidy that up. And that lady that I said about my husband said something I didn't like.
Right.
She also, within that same time period, we were decluttering for 2 3 weeks, and she said, I have been meaning to go on that fitness program for a long time. I am going to do that. Just out of the blue. It was even out of the blue to her. She hadn't really thought of it, but suddenly it became clear.
Yeah.
Again, the layers of the onion. I know I'm covering a lot here,
No,
but
no, I think this is fantastic. If somebody that's listening goes, this is me, I know there's a lot of clutter in my house. What, and I know everybody is different. I know you work with people one-on-one to help create a strategic plan for this, but what sort of one general or maybe two general strategies that you could say this might be an approach that could work for you?
I'm going to give you the approach that I use with all of my clients, and it has a very high success rate, and that's called the one system.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? One room at a time, one area of that room at a time, and one thing at a time. Now, that doesn't mean Marie Kondo's way, God bless her, of one category, like take all of your clothes out of the closets and leave them everywhere in the house, and holy overwhelm, Batman.
Yeah.
If you do one room and make a decision, because it's tempting to, I'll do the office and the bedroom at the same time. No, number one, you lose momentum. You forget where you were. And if you pick the smallest room in the house, as opposed to the basement with the 30 years worth of Christmas decorations, if you follow here.
Yeah, yeah.
Pick the smallest room so that you get a sense of accomplishment. You get a sense of confidence. You know that you can, because many times people don't even address their clutter because they're overwhelmed. They just don't know where to start. But if you simplify it as much as you possibly can, then you're on your way. Now you've got your one room. Now choose one area of that room. That can be a little tricky to make that decision, but stick with it. Again, you will build your confidence and momentum. And we'll go to I'm moving fast here. There's a lot to it, but this is a good overview that people have found helpful. One thing at a time. And quick example, you said you love stories. My very first client, L-shaped desk, 6 inches, 8 inches of paper. Couldn't see the desk. Very first client, I said, hey, what do I do here? Okay, Julie, let's look at what's this first piece of paper here? And she looked at me like I was from Venus, and she says, we're not going through all this paper one by one. You're out of your mind. Well, I didn't know what to do. I'd already taken her money. So she relented. Within 5 minutes, she starts flying through these papers saying, I don't need utility bills. I can get them online. My accountant doesn't need my bank statements. You see, she was seeing, by going through things slowly and seeing it, the universe was sending her ways that she could reduce the incoming clutter. And the pièce de résistance was we had thrown away about 8 trade magazines, and they were kind of pricey. She reported, Kitti, I was in the store, my arm automatically reached for that magazine. Oh, wait a minute now, I am just throwing away 60, $80 worth. I'll buy it every 2 or 3 months. Again, retraining the brain that you don't really need a lot of the stuff that's coming in. And you can, I don't want to complicate things for your audience, but you can use this technique on all 5 pillars of your life. But start with the physical, and practice with that, and just keep it simple.
Yep. Always the best policy. So you have shared a ton of things, and thank you for that very practical strategy. That's my goal, is in these short little videos, is to be able to have practical strategies, and you've given several. So Kitti, what do you think is the critical piece of information that people need to remember from this?
On the topic of overwhelm and confidence when it comes to clutter, remember this. It did not accumulate overnight. It's not going to go away overnight. So cut yourself some slack and take it. How many, Marty?
One.
Piece at a time.
Thank you. I love this. And I love that you are so positive that you don't have to like move and burn your house down. There's a practical way to do this, even if there's a massive amount of clutter. Yes. So, Kitti, thank you so much. If people want to find out more about you, I know you have a gift that you want to give to people. Can you share a little bit about that before we get off the call here?
The easiest way for me to do it is just to say, go to declutterthebrain.com, and there's the handy dandy button there that you can download, and it's 7 easy steps to conquer your physical and mental clutter. It's an evergreen tool that you can use for life to just keep you decluttered for life.
Yeah, and thank you for that gift. I'm going to head over there and grab it myself. So, Kitti, thank you so much for being on here, and thank you for sharing all your expertise and wisdom. It's been really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. My pleasure.